First thing you need to do to join the Real Estate Radio Network is sign your letter of intent and submit your investment for training and placement. You aren't making a long-term commitment at this time, although I can promise you this: once you've experienced life as a radio show host, you'll never be able to go back to being just like everyone else. This step allows us to simply get the ball rolling. Once we have received your letter of intent and investment for training, we will conduct your first coaching call. This call will allow us to find out more about your specific goals for business, who you are, and who you'd like to be appealing to. Certain questions such as religion, politics, age, etc. can be a part of this process. Just remember, we don't judge anyone. However, it's important for us to know who you are as much as possible so we can make the right decisions for you and the radio program. Shortly after your introductory coaching call, please send a professional picture of yourself and your company logo if you wish as well. We will need this for the radio station once you've officially been placed on air and for all the promotional announcements about the new show. At this stage of the process, it's very important to stay patient. The researching, negotiation, and ultimate acquisition of studio time can take anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks. However, this is one of the most important parts of the process. It's very important to find a home where we can broadcast the show for a long time. You can certainly tell people in your market or family that you've been contracted to host a radio show, but don't put the cart before the horse. Do not contact anyone about being a partner in the show or sponsoring yet. And definitely, don't try to line up any guests at this time. We need to know the station, day and time of your show, and the date it starts before we do any of that. But don't worry, once we contract with the station, we create at least a 4-week window until the first show. This gives us plenty of time to execute everything needed to make the show successful. Once we have put together all the offers from stations that seem to be a fit for our goals, we will have a final placement call with you to go over the details. This is a very exciting step in the process. We'll be looking at media kits and coverage maps, station demographics and listenership so we can together determine the best home for the new show. Once we agree on where we want to broadcast the new show, there will be another contract to execute so we can officially lock down the airtime and start your career on the air. After executing the final contract, you will be emailed a link to download what we call the package. This is a file that's about 60 megs of disclosures, templates, and documents that you will use as the new host of Real Estate Radio. Spend some time and go through these documents carefully. Get the most you can out of them. A lot of time and effort went into creating these resources so you can be armed with everything you could possibly need to be successful with the new show. Once the package has been delivered to you, the next step is for us to send the station your initial production instructions. This includes information on what needs to be produced so the show will be ready to go live. Now that we know the station, the day, the time, and the actual date the show starts, it's time to get this ship sailing. The first thing you need to do is use the announcement letters in the package to send everyone you know, business and personal, either a letter in the mail or an email or both, announcing the start of Real Estate Radio in your market with you as the host. Remember this one important fact about your new status. It's better than anything else you've got, so it has to be first and foremost. Your email signatures, voicemail outgoing message, the voicemails you leave for other people, the way you introduce yourself, and the first thing you talk about needs to always be Real Estate Radio. This is the first step in elevating your status, making you different from everyone else in your profession, and confirming that you are the expert in your local market. At this stage of the process, our marketing staff will help you with setting up your Facebook page, email addresses, email signatures, business cards, letterhead, and all the other materials you will need to effectively brand your new position as the host of Real Estate Radio. After branding everything with Real Estate Radio, it's now time for your business implementation phone call. During this call, you will learn the ins and outs of how to use your status as radio host with Real Estate Radio to maximize your exposure as a business professional and create a buzz around yourself in your local community. You won't need any coffee for this call. Get ready to get pumped. After your business implementation phone call, you're going to be really fired up, and you should be. But now it's time to put on your student cap and start absorbing information. You'll need to watch every single webinar podcast on the training website, starting with the very first one. Don't watch too many of these in the same day. You'll really want to soak this stuff in. Keep a running list of questions written down and cross them off as they are answered in the webinars. Please let us know if you have any questions that were not covered in the webinars so we can add to future content. Try to watch these videos at night or at a time when you don't have any distractions. This is a really important part of your learning process. After you've reviewed all the previous webinars we've conducted, you will have a firm grasp of our specific strategy for obtaining advertisers, show partners, and sponsors. It's time to execute the first phase of that three-phase process, building your interest list. Remember, this doesn't just need to be people you already know. The best part about being a radio host is that you'll be meeting new people all the time. Follow this method to a T, and you will have success. And not only getting your show paid for, but ultimately getting paid to host a radio show. And let me tell you, as someone who has that feeling right now, it feels pretty darn good. Yahoo! While your interest list is building, you should spend time every day going through the host training video library. This is different from the webinars in that the videos are shorter and designed to hammer home one idea at a time. However, it's very, very important that you complete all the webinar podcasts before going to this step. Once you've completed all the sessions in the host training video library, there will be 2 to 3 shows linked to your checklist that you should listen to in their entirety. Don't just listen as an average listener, but as a future host who is trying to learn from the host of the show that's playing. A great thing to do for practice at this stage. Anytime you're in your car, turn the radio and music off. Just start talking like you're on the air. Say anything you want. No one will be listening. This is a great way to start practicing your radio show hosting skills. It's now time to get your designated real estate radio website. This website is specifically designed to make things easy for uploading content such as your past shows and displaying your advertisers, show partners, and sponsors' logos front and center. If you don't have any advertisers, show partners, or sponsors yet, that is not a problem. We will know where you're doing the show and when, and that will be enough to move forward. Once you have the website in place, it's time to start creating your advertiser packages. Templates are included in your startup package. Make sure any advertiser package you approve is also approved by the Real Estate Radio Network. Remember, all advertisers, show partners, and sponsors will be paying the Real Estate Radio Network directly. There is no direct exchange of funds with you, so your potential advertiser pool is literally any company or person who wants to advertise on the radio. It is very, very, very important to make sure you wait until this stage to approach your interest list of advertisers, show partners, and sponsors. Do not put the cart before the horse on this one. At this stage, we know everything about your show and we have everything to offer completed. It's more difficult to get other service providers interested in being a part of your program when it is still just a possibility. Once they can see it, once they can feel it, they will all be interested. It's also important to start working on your interest list at the time indicated initially. You want some time to build up between your initial contact and scheduling the interview. You don't want anyone to think you're trying to punch them in the face with this thing. Slow and steady wins the race here. Trust me. While you're in the process of following up with your interest list, a tour of your studio will be scheduled typically by the program director, producer, or promoter at the station. This is when you'll record your initial advertisements that you'll be running during the show and where you're going to get your first taste of how your station looks and feels. Every Thursday, you will receive an email of this week's programming content. This document will have the outline of the show fully prepared, along with attached talking points and articles for you to share with the audience and your guests. Of course, you can vary the content some. You're not working from a script here, but this gives you plenty to lean on, so you'll never have to go into a show wondering what you're going to talk about. We do the research to save you the time, and make sure you always have great programming content at your fingertips. We are constantly getting amazing feedback from all of our stations all over the country about how well trained and how far ahead of the curve our radio show hosts are. It's because of the training we provide and the content that's updated every single week. Let me make this very clear. You are about to do something that will change your life forever. Hosting this radio program is going to be something you will look forward to doing every single week. And once you've lived life as a radio show host, you can never go back to being just like everyone else.
And God knows if I've looked down,